The spiritual ecstasy of chanting could no longer be contained. It burst forth in the minds and hearts of the people of Navadvip. Some Muslims and even Brahmins were envious, however. They complained to Chand Kazi, the Muslim magistrate, and one night the Kazi raided a devotee's home, angrily broke a drum and declared,
"Next time someone chants, I will confiscate all his property."
Nimai's response was bold and fearless. He quickly mobilized 100,000 people and led them in India's first civil disobedience movement. They soon reached the home of the Kazi, who only then realized the popularity of young Nimai's Sankirtan movement. After an extensive philosophical discussion, the Kazi was so moved by the truth and beauty of Nimai's teachings that he pledged,
"Neither I nor any of my descendants will ever again hinder this Sankirtan movement."
Nimai's followers multiplied. His weapon was Sankirtan, and his miracle to turn materialists into pure spiritualists. Yet he occasionally displayed miracles of another type. One night, the son of Srivas Thakur died. Nimai restored the dead body to life. "Why are you leaving us?" he asked the boy.
"I live as long as I was destined. I am your eternal servant, a dependent living being. I must act according to your desire."
Hearing this, everyone present became transcendently enlightened. Yet there were those who disdained the Sankirtan movement, thinking Nimai an ordinary man. To capture these critics in his network of love of God, Nimai severed his connection with family and home. In January 1510, Nimai accepted sannyas, the highest spiritual order, renouncing the world and humbly devoting his life to the service of Krishna. Because the order of sannyas was revered by the whole society, Nimai could then spread his movement more effectively. His childhood name was set aside, and he became known as Sri Chaitanya. The Lord's mother was heartstruck by her son's renunciation. He consoled her by agreeing to make his headquarters at nearby Jagannath Puri, the holy city in Orissa on the Bay of Bengal. With 4 others, Sri Chaitanya walked along the banks of the Ganges toward Puri, stopping on the way to visit temples and hear about the pastimes of Lord Krishna and his devotees. Finally, they came to Puri. On seeing the temple of Lord Jagannath, Sri Chaitanya immediately became ecstatic, and when he entered the temple, he was so overwhelmed with love of God that he fainted. Still unconscious, he was carried here, the home of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, a renowned scholar and logician of Puri. Here, the Lord regained consciousness and met Sarvabhauma for the first time. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya had thousands of followers and was the personal advisor to the king of Orissa. Yet, after 1 week of discussions, the elderly Sarvabhauma realized that the absolute truth is not impersonal, but is Krishna himself. He became an ardent disciple of the 24-year-old Sri Chaitanya. The whole city was amazed. Thousands of people began to follow Sri Chaitanya, including the king himself. But the Lord did not stay to enjoy his fame. He left Jagannath Puri to propagate the chanting of Hare Krishna. He embarked on a 2-year, 4,000-mile walking pilgrimage to the holy places of South India. In one village, a devotee named Vasudeva, who was suffering from leprosy, went to see Sri Chaitanya. But Vasudeva arrived too late. Hopelessly disappointed, he fell unconscious. Suddenly, Sri Chaitanya returned and embraced Vasudeva, curing his leprosy. The Lord visited the Jayata Nrsimha temple and offered his respectful obeisances on seeing the half-man, half-lion deity of Lord Nrsimha in the temple. When Sri Chaitanya was chanting near the Godavari River, Ramananda Roy, the governor of Madras and a highly advanced devotee of Krishna, came there. Sri Chaitanya and Ramananda Roy spent many hours discussing Lord Krishna's pastimes. Finally, Sri Chaitanya revealed himself as the combined form of the Supreme Person, Lord Krishna, and his beloved consort, Radharani. Arriving at Shiva Kanchi, Lord Chaitanya visited the deity of Lord Shiva in a very old temple. By his influence, he converted all the devotees of Lord Shiva into devotees of Lord Krishna. Nearby, the Lord visited the holy place known as Vishnu Kanchi and performed kirtan in ecstasy. 500 feet up in the hills at Pakshi Tirtha, Sri Chaitanya visited another temple of Lord Shiva. It is said that 2 birds have been going to this temple daily to receive food from the temple priest since time immemorial. Sri Ranga Temple, surrounded by 7 walls, is the largest in India. There, beneath a golden dome, the 18-foot black deity of Sri Ranganath reclines behind a deity of Lord Vishnu. Sri Chaitanya stayed here in Sri Ranga for the 4 months of the rainy season. Daily, many people used to come to see him and were freed from the distress of material life. In Madurai, Sri Chaitanya visited the Meenakshi Devi temple, built in honor of Lord Shiva's wife. This temple is known as a great architectural achievement. The Lord saw the Malaya Parvata mountain range at Cape Comorin, the southernmost tip of India. Then he headed north, back to Puri. On the way, he became ecstatic when he reached the Adi Keshava temple, where a small deity circumambulates the area every day. In this temple, Sri Chaitanya discovered a chapter of the Brahma Samhita, an important scripture that had long been lost. The Lord copied it and took it with him, considering it a most valuable jewel. The Lord arrived at Udupi, where Madhvacharya, the great devotee and spiritual preceptor, was born and lived. When the Lord saw Madhvacharya's deity of Lord Krishna, he became mad with ecstasy. As the Lord passed through towns and villages, many people came to see him. He blessed them and asked them all to chant Hare Krishna. These people, now empowered devotees, returned to their homes and inspired others to chant. Krishna himself, in the guise of a devotee, had begun to flood the world with an ocean of love for Sri Krishna. The world would never be the same.